Big tech giants like Twitter, Google, and Facebook should be punished with major sanctions whenever they silence conservative voices.
President Trump, during his CPAC speech a couple months ago, foreshadowing much? Well, earlier today, Facebook's oversight board upheld the social media platform's ban on Trump tweeting. Trump's post during the Capitol riot severely violated Facebook's rules and encouraged and legitimized violence. But let's not forget what Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg had to say 2 years ago about big tech interfering with free speech. Watch.
My belief is that in a democracy, I don't think that we want private companies censoring politicians in the news. I generally believe that as a principle, people should decide what is credible and what they want to believe and who they want to vote for. I don't think that that should be something that we want tech companies or any kind of other company doing.
Joining me now to discuss, Rob Smith, contributor at The First and host of Rob Smith is Problematic. Rob, good to see you.
Good to see you, Buck.
I got to say, this whole Zuckerberg soundbite we played for you, I don't think he means it. I know that Facebook deferred today, and an all-time permanent decision is still waiting to be had here. But I mean, we've got a former president being censored. Rob, what do you make of it?
Well, it's really interesting with this whole situation right now is because this Facebook oversight board, so Facebook deferred it to the oversight board, and then the oversight board basically deferred it to Facebook, and they're saying, look, you guys have to make a decision about this, and it has to be something that you are dictating that is on the same standards that you hold everybody else to. Do I think that they're being fair with the president? No. Do I think they have too much power? Yes. And I think that there's something else going on here. First of all, these tech companies are still relitigating the 2016 election. They still, to this day, do not like the turnout of the 2016 election that went for Trump. And one of the main reasons it went for Trump is because that team was so good at using these social media networks, so good at using Facebook, so good at using Twitter, that they were able to basically subvert the mainstream media and take their message directly to the people. Now, this is something that they're trying to stop from ever happening again. That's what we're seeing right now. And another thing, too, that a lot of people aren't realizing, that President Trump's Facebook presence is not just him saying stuff. You know, the stuff on Twitter definitely drove the news cycles and it drove the lefties crazy, which we all appreciated. But on Facebook, this is a fundamental and formidable fundraising operation that helps fundraise for not only President Trump, but for Republicans and pretty much a lot of people down the ticket. And that's another thing that they're afraid of as well. And so all of the people that they're saying that they don't want Trump on Facebook, they're saying that they don't want him on all these social medias. I think that ultimately a lot of the media people do, because they still cannot quit him even at this point, Buck. I turn on to CNN sometimes so you guys don't have to, and he is still all they talk about.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's as though he's the shadow presidency or something. Like he's still running everything. Anything that goes wrong, they can blame on Trump still. But you touch on a really important point here, and I'm trying to get the word out about this more to folks, because there are a lot of Trump voters from the last election who are saying, oh, whatever, Trump's got a plan, Trump 2024. And on this issue of social media, I hate to be the one to have to say it, but if Trump and the possible Trump campaign in 2024 don't have access to Twitter or Facebook, you point out the fundraising, they have, with the architecture right now of the internet and the way fundraising is done, 4 years is a lot of time. But if the election were held in 6 months and Trump had no access to Facebook or Twitter or any of the other platforms, the chance of him actually winning the election is basically zero. And that's what I think everyone needs to understand. Won't be able to raise the money, won't be able to reach constituencies the same way. It is an enormous advantage for Joe Biden or whomever to be able to use those platforms against somebody who's banned.
It absolutely is. And look, I voted for Trump, and I don't want to make anybody mad right now, but I have to remind everybody that in 2016, House, Senate, presidency, and there was nothing that was ever done when he had the bully pulpit of the presidency to really take on these social media networks. So look, what I love, I'm a proud Floridian right now. I've been in Florida for about the past year. And I love Ron DeSantis playing offense against these tech companies, offense against these social media companies. Any Republican moving forward has to realize that these companies want control because this is the way that they control the conversation. And this is a way, like you said, that they stop Republicans from being able to control their own message and to fundraise. So Republicans, the next time you get the power, you're going to have to use it. Because say what you want about the Democrats, and we both say a lot about them, but when they get power, they wield it.
They go
and
for it.
They use it to their advantage to do what they want to get done. And Republicans do not do that. So let this be a lesson to Republicans. When you have the power, use it and take on these social media companies.